This chapter covers regular expressions. A regular expression in computer programming parlance, or Oracle SQL, is a way that allows you to pattern match into strings and find one or more patterns in strings and pull those strings out of a database, for instance. But what we need to do to start with is to get back to the very basics of what an expression is. What is an expression? An expression is an expression or a something, a string, a number that equates to something. So the number 1 is an expression because 1 is 1. X plus y is also an expression. If you plug two values into x and y respectively, add the two, you get a result of the expression x plus y. And obviously x plus y enclosed in parentheses implies that whatever's inside the brackets gets executed first. This is also an expression where if you look at the precedence of the brackets, the z times p part gets executed first. It gets raised to the power of 2, then multiplied by y, then x gets added, and then you divide by 25. But the whole thing, the point is, the whole thing is an expression in itself. It equates or results in a specific value. mc to the power of 2, or mc squared, is also an expression. It results in a specific value. In other words, E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. Einstein. A query and its subqueries, they are all expressions because they result or equate to a specific thing, a value or a list of values. They result in something. Let's look at some examples. And here we have a bunch of example queries. Anything resulting in a value is an expression that can consist of a single scalar value or a highly complex formula. Here are some example expressions, notably expressions that work in Oracle SQL. Let's highlight all this stuff and let's go and chuck it into SQL Developer. Let's just run them, just for show. Select everything from Dual. Well, the Dual table is a dummy table that actually contains a column called dummy with a value of x. Describe Dual. And here we have Dual described. Dummy with varchar 1. So now let's go and select. Note I'm wrapping this inside here. So I'm embedding this expression here within this expression. So if we were to run this little guy here exclusively, once again I get x. If I take this whole thing here, run one from the other, I'm passing x back to select something, I get the same value. This happens to be exactly the same query, except that I've wrapped the entire thing in parentheses. Meaningless in this situation, but it really implies that the expression is executed internally first. What's happening here is this expression is being allowed to execute first before it passes its result back to this one. So you get the idea. Expressions within expressions within expressions result in and equate to a specific value. Here's another one. It's just going down more layers. Same result. I can run this guy. I can actually run this guy with just the one bracket. It's passing that back to there. And I can run the one wrapping it. Note that I can't leave one bracket on the left and no brackets on the right. In this case, the left and right are possibly highlighted by SQL Developer. Looks like they might be, but I'm not quite sure of that. There's some funky things with highlighting. Here it's actually running the entire thing. You can see it, and then it does the same thing again. And obviously if we remove the highlighting, and I press Control Enter, it's going to run everything on that line. So you get the idea of what an expression is. In this case, this is an expression that contains two other expressions where the results from those expressions are actually joined to the table in the calling query using the where clause. We could actually use a join clause as well. And I've quickly gone and created a slightly different example of this one. As opposed to using the where clause to join, I've used the join clauses. So I've taken the first data source, the country table, I've joined it with the second data source, which is the subquery, with the join, and then I've done the second one as well. And as you can see, I've commented out these two lines and left this instruction terminator at the bottom. So if I simply click on this query, Control Enter, it runs the same thing. Get the same result. Go down to here, I've got another query. Here I've joined a whole lot of tables together. This is all one great big huge enormous expression that pulls up a lot of data. That's what an expression is. I will copy this code back and put it in the file.